Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. Once again, it is the award-winning show, Larry Ray Outdoors, brought to you from the spacious 790 ESPN studios on Mount Moriah. It this being the third Saturday of the month, it is opening weekend of Arkansas duck season, and who better to talk to us about waterfowl hunting than the waterfowl specialty biologist from the Arkansas Game and Fish. We have Luke Naylor on the line, and Larry is going to talk to Luke about everything going on with Arkansas regulations and stuff having to do with waterfowl. So take it away, Larry.
All right, Frank. And I'm going to give you guys a treat later on because the next segment will be introduced by John Gordon. And if John does not call me the Oracle of the Mid-South, I'm cutting him off, okay, because that's John's trademark introduction. And so
the Oracle of the Mid-South? I'm not sure about that, Larry. Have I ever said that before?
Yes.
Oracle of the Outdoors.
Oracle of the Outdoors. That's what it was. That's right. Okay. Hey, Luke, thanks for being with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We called it the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio programming, and appreciate you taking time on this opening day of Arkansas's duck season. Today through November 30th is the opening segment. And, Luke, I know that is both of these guys on the line with us. They're both in blinds this morning. One's in Lansing Bottoms, one's near Cherry Valley, and they're both so optimistic they only brought 6 shells each. So,
wow.
So I wanted you to know that before you start talking about how disappointed they may be on opening day.
Well, they brought enough shells.
They did bring enough shells. That's true.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that? So, I mean, Luke's got a lot of confidence, you guys. But let's talk, Luke. I know in your position. How long you been in this position?
14 years now.
I know it.
Yeah, I got here in 06.
I thought you were that time. So this year we're going to talk a little bit about the waterfowl reports are out, which you guys do a wonderful job. I've got those posted on lroutdoors.com. Got back in the loop on that. But there's a little bit of difference this year. The only way to register for the Harvest Information Program, which we all know is HIP, has made a change in it. So tell our listeners what's the change in that HIP.
Yeah, so we've made it. We just kind of consolidated where that can be done, and we're trying to really in an effort to kind of remove any kind of errors we possibly can. Not of anybody's fault or wrongdoing or anything like that, but just to kind of tie it up a little bit cleaner and hone that in where it's only available now online through our app, which just connects you to our online licensing system, or at an AGFC office that includes nature centers, shooting ranges, and our regional offices. So, this is something that you could do multiple shows about. People have talked about HIP since it started in 1999.
Yes, yeah.
And we quickly identified some potential issues with collecting those data from folks out in the field. So people register for it.
Yeah.
Right. They go in there and they typically go where people typically go buy licenses, right? Big box stores.
Yeah, just fill out the little, check them off, put the numbers down.
They check. You're lucky. You're a fortunate one, Larry, if you actually got asked the questions.
Oh, I got to,
and actually had to respond to them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's actually really uncommon. It became even more uncommon, it seems, for licensed vendors to actually ask the screening questions.
Yeah.
And there were some other internal issues that we worked through that we kind of had to just troubleshoot internally with our system.
Yeah.
But for example, those questions are not the harvest survey, like a lot of people think they are. Those are just to stratify the sample. So if you say, I shoot 1 to 10 ducks a year, and Frank says he shoots 30 or more ducks per year, you would each go in a different category for sampling. So the Fish and Wildlife Service has different. They sample each of those strata at different rates, and so that's all that does.
Well, I've always wanted to fly in that plane that counts ducks too. You know, the waterfowl.
Well,
I mean, you know how they can be so precise on how many ducks they've seen. So you've probably been in that plane. I've asked several times. I was in a helicopter once, and they turned me upside down. And I couldn't see nothing. So
yeah, that's usually when things are going wrong if you end up in that orientation. But yeah, so we fixed hip. To give you an example, I think the last year we looked at it here last season, I think we had upwards of 70% plus of all of our hip registrants that came in, 190,000 of them.
okay.
About 70% of them had selected did not hunt.
Did not hunt.
For the stratification question,
yes.
Which that is an indication that people aren't getting asked the questions. There was some autofill going on our own website.
Yeah, I think
so. We're just cleaning that up and tightening that up. Kentucky did this in a similar form a couple of years ago, and it's gone really well. Louisiana's working on this right now. Several states are trying to make these changes to just kind of tighten up the system and make sure the data is the best it can be.
Well, I can't wait to talk to Jamie Feddersen next.
He's not going to tell you anything true.
Oh, I know that. Joe Benedict's already told me that. Okay, so that's why he sent Jamie in, because I'm going to ask you about that. The hip has been one of those things. I don't know how many times we've talked about that over the 19 years we've been on the air, and so I was really happy to see this press release, because it's bringing us to modern times, you know. And I know people don't like change, you know, but I think this will be a change that maybe the old timers may not accept, and I'm an old timer, but I think it will. And Frank, have you filled out your hip every year? Frank?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Have you kept track of your hip every year?
Oh yeah, do I keep up with it?
Yeah.
I just answered the questions. I'm sorry. but I'm always answering. You know, when it's I'm always like in the 30 or more. I forgot the.
There you go. I mean, Luke's already said you were in the 30 or more. He put me in the 10, so he knew where I was. But he had you pretty well pegged. How about you, John Gordon?
Yeah, same thing, Larry. The hip deal is pretty good. You know, it gives the the state governments and everything else a chance to get a feel for how many people are hunting ducks and migratory waterfowl, because they ask you about doves too.
Yes, they do.
And many different types of waterfowl, like rails and woodcock and things like that. So
the woodcock.
It's so it's really a good deal.
Well, I think that they've streamlined it in Arkansas. Of course, I'm from Arkansas. They streamline everything over there. Luke, let's talk about the season prospect. Every duck hunter, well, deer hunter too, is always optimistic. You won't find any more optimistic people than these two guys on the line with you right now. As far as this is going to be the season, buddy, they're all going to be here. So talk about it from your perspective. What are you anticipating this first segment?
Well, this first segment is always interesting. It seems like every year we're talking about how it's our classic term of spotty duck distribution.
There you go, Frank. Hear that?
yeah. It's always spotty. It's always hit and miss, and I think it holds true again this year, the way things are setting up now. Now we had quite a bit of water in mid-October with some rain.
There you go, John Gordon. He's hitting you right what you said, John.
Well, the problem is a lot of that water went away.
What, John?
Now it's gone.
Huh? Yeah, it's gone. Okay,
yep,
that's what
it's gone. That's right, and it was there. Which is not uncommon to have a hurricane come through and fill up some ag fields, and put some water out there for a while. But what was unusual this time was the fact that it had a major cold front that just dipped down right to the northwest corner of Arkansas.
Yeah, it did.
And we had 20-degree temperatures just up from there. And so shortly after that all happened, there were quite a few mallards, anecdotally, of course, but a lot of people were seeing good numbers of lots of ducks, different types of ducks, and a fair number of mallards. And that habitat has steadily just gone away. A lot of it, structures weren't in rice fields to hold it. Some farmers, rice farmers got behind this year.
Yeah. And we've been in the last week here, Luke. We've been under red flag warnings, fire burning warnings.
It's dry.
It's dry. So next week we're getting some rain, but opening day, it's just like all of a sudden, hey, it's Arkansas's opening day. Let's don't have any rain for a week. Let's have lots of wind and things along that line. So it's one of those. September, October, November, early November at least for sure are really historically some of our driest times of the year. Yes.
So it's really kind of normal to have these dry conditions, but it always hurts a little bit right when you get close to duck season. Now I've been driving around a fair bit, and people are public and private land managers are putting water out on the landscape for ducks, but it's but it's small in scale compared to what was there maybe the third week of October with a bunch of rainfall. So it'll build. It'll get back here. It almost always does.
Okay, Frank, you hear that, because I know, Frank, you had plenty of water in October, didn't you, Frank?
Yeah. we went from completely dry to going, oh my gosh, we're flooded out again.
Yes, and Frank's hunting near. I don't know if you've heard of Lansing Bottoms, Luke, but it's pretty well-known place. And then John hunting this morning near Cherry Valley in the Wynn area. So it's one of those things that, hey, folks, you got till November the 30th. If you don't like the weather, what, Luke? Stick around; it'll change, right? I mean,
just wait; it'll change on you. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Luke,
it's going to change.
Luke, thank you, buddy, for taking time to be with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Tell Keith Stevens we thank you, too. We'd like to hook up with you every once in a while during the season, if that's possible, and talk a little waterfowl with you. Okay, man?
Definitely. Call back anytime.
All right, man. Have a great weekend.
All right.
All right?
You too.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Luke Naylor, Arkansas Game and Fish Commission waterfowl coordinator, and wonderfully introduced by Frank Barton. I tell you what, Frank, you get better. You get better all the time at this. And, of course, now you've left something really hard for the next introduction, man. He's writing notes right down in the duck blind,
He's the true professional of it.
Well,
oh, man.
No, you've got to – well, I'm not going to say – Frank has the FM voice, okay?
Oh, he does, yes.
He does. Now, nothing against your voice. You got a nice voice. And you have a radio face like me, okay? But we won't go any further than that. But just make sure you get Oracle in there, okay? I mean, I got to have that in there.
The Oracle of the Outdoors.
Now, don't do it yet. Yeah, we're not telling people yet. All right, let's take a break, right, Shelby? Then we're going to come back and talk a little waterfowl in Tennessee, hopefully with Jamie Feddersen on Outdoors with Larry Ray.